together with him. They open up this pick and ban phase with the Swain ban on Roccat. No surprises here.
Yep.
On the opposite side, Roccat elect to take the Azir off the board. No bird for power this game.
Who's going to ban the Vladimir is going to be the question, not whether Vladimir is banned. And if Origen is going to continue having their support banned out with two comfort picks being taken away from him in both the Braum and the Bard.
It's happened pretty much just about every game. However, last time around, the Karma definitely seemed to work some wonders for him. Victor is no longer an option for Betsy either. They've left the Vlad open for now. Wonder if that's going to be their third ban choice, if they're trying to bait it out of Roccat here.
They're definitely going to look for first pick Vladimir, forcing Roccat the first pick. And Roccat saying, you know what, if we can't ban both of them, we will simply ban neither of both Bard and Braum and have our third ban to be reactive here. Origen taking away some of the comfort picks, saying, yes, Betsy, we respect your Victor. We managed to single you out with some arrows last game, but if that's no longer on the table, or you're now more aware of it and you draft Cleanse, you will be just so annoying to deal with. And I think it's the right approach. I think Betsy's Victor is definitely a force to be reckoned with.
With the Rise band away now, they're still daring and hoping for Roccat to maybe ban, or they just take the Vlad for themselves. His power had not too shabby a performance on it, but that's going to be the last one.
Yeah, it has to be the Vladimir ban here. I don't think at this patch you really can afford to give it over. Yes, Anivia is a good counter pick, but it's shown that even, you know, great Vladimirs can just triumph in that Anivia-Vladimir matchup.
And once again, with the junglers being untouched, this gives over the first pick up to Amazing. He gets himself the Kindred, but by the same token, you know, the AD carries not as much as well, with the exception of the Ashe pick. So you got to think Roccat might want to opt for the Kate again.
Yeah, this is where Roccat can already predict at least the champion pool that's going to be played by Hybrid. And again, are they going to challenge that? Are they going to take away the Bard or the Braum and take the favorable pick at least on this first rotation?
Oh, I think your question is answered. They do grab the Bard, but unexpected, we see the Zilean picked up for Betsy.
I love this combo, and I really hope Hybrid's done his homework and right now drafts a Thresh here as a counter pick, because this combo is all about Tempered Fate into double Zilean Bomb that is undodgeable, because the game insta-stuns you as you come out of the Zonia's effect. The only way that you can get out there is if you buffer the Thresh Lantern, and we've seen that actually happen last year, I think, when it was it HTK that ran it?
Vitality,
Vitality ran it with Casino. It was against HTK who had the Thresh here, and they kind of haphazardly discovered that interaction in the middle of the game, and it made Vitality have a very hard time dealing with it.
Yeah, haven't seen that combo executed quite so successfully. I really haven't seen much of it at all lately, but Roccat, they're putting their eggs in this basket, and it could be very explosive for Origen. Karma, Ezreal are the next pickups, trying to play a little safe, a little to the back, with those AD carry and support combos.
Yeah, with this support now being Karma, it is imperative that you always flash or dodge out the Tempered Fate, because the follow-up will be instantaneous from the bombs into the Bard Q combo.
Yeah, already seeing Origen, you know, draft a little bit more away from personal picks and into the team favor compositions. This is the first time that Hybrid has had Braum available to him and he hasn't picked it. And it just speaks to so much of him trying to branch it out. Yeah,
also range support matter. You want pressure in the lane. Braum is really good at defending his lane, but he will yield the pressure, especially with an Ezreal there too. Like, you now have access to double poke push that you can really put a pressure in the bot lane if you get a favorable mid matchup. That just creates so much space on the map for you other roles.
Speaking of creating space, Gragas locked in on the side of Roccat, so Airwaks will be throwing out the big barrels, trying to keep people a little bit further away. They have a decent bit of poke and disengage, and Lucian locked in for Steeelback with the Kate still up.
Yeah, Lucian can go in and become more of a menace. He is shorter range right now because his Q obviously doesn't travel through minions that well. It's a little bit reduced, but he can go almost bonkers melee range because he always has the safety net, you know, which is that Zilean ultimate available to him.
Rather than having his own net on the side of Caitlyn. Origen, one of the next pickups they're going to take off. We're still looking for a mid laner, still looking for a top. With the Bard Zilean combo, what would you recommend? What would Professor Crepo say to deal with this?
I like the mid lane pool is hit hard here. Sometimes players would resort playing to a Lissandra here, but it's really hard to play into Zilean because just the ranges don't really match up that well. You can just get double bombed too easily. I don't even know what I would play into a Zilean here. I'm obviously forgetting some picks. I always do.
Yeah, there's a lot of champions on the board, that's for sure. Last couple seconds, and
yeah,
we actually get the Braum locked in. This means we got Karma mid.
Yeah. So that I think that actually makes a lot of sense, because I was going through the pool here. I was like thinking Veigar, no, not really. Don't want to play something like Lux. What would you play? Cassin yields the lane too much. Syndra combo doesn't work because of the revive, etc., etc. We can go on forever, but the switch to just Karma mid, who can now aggressively speed herself up to dodge out some of these bomb drops, as well as having Master W for a close range trading tool and follow up. definitely there. Definitely good pick. And they're looking to speed up this Olaf pick too in the top lane. So a very Zerg heavy composition on the side of Origen.
Yeah, only thing really missing out of that is the Sivir, which wasn't touched, of course, but still very safe Ezreal AD carry for xPeke in case he gets himself into a bad situation. A lot of power on that team, and a big front line in the favor of Braum. We talked about how maybe it wasn't necessarily the optimal choice in the lane matchup. Clearly still a favorite for Hybrid, so he does get to lock it in this time for the first time. And we will see that last pickup Ekko for Parang. Bit of a throwback since the changes happened to him. He got hit with his own Nerf bat.
Yeah, xPeke and Hybrid are definitely going to be looking to play safe in the bot lane and just farm up max range. PowerOfEvil can fend for himself in mid lane. Karma also just an incredible 2-item spike for the mid game. So all the attention should be around that Olaf pick in the top lane, have amazing snowball at 4 SoaZ, and have him then influence the rest of the map.
And that is what we've been expecting out of Origen coming into this week. What they found success on, their recipe was snowball the SoaZ up in the top side, and we've seen in the hands of some of our top laners here in Europe what a big Olaf can do, particularly on the side of Cabochard. SoaZ, kind of in the same mold. We'll see if he can get back to that old carry
Both
style.
French.
Yes.
They like their baguettes.
And they like their Vikings, it turns out. Can't wait to see how this one does shake out indeed. But
yeah,
why don't you guys tell us at home who you think is going to walk away with the win? Is Origen going to do it again? Can they make their first duo on the split? If you think so, hashtag OGWin. Or if you think Roccat are going to claw their way back into this one, of course, hashtag ROCWin is yours. So we'll see how this shakes up. It's already going to look up to be a very different game. Touchy combo, that mid-end support. Looking right at Betsy and at Raze. See what they can get done.
Yeah, and a lane swap would actually favor Roccat in the sense that they dodge his top lane snowball, potentially keep SoaZ down, who is a cornerstone of Origen when they kind of want to get ahead. However, it is really dangerous to play, in my opinion, a Bard in a lane swap here because you delay the level 6 so much that the combo just loses a lot of potential. Because if you're level 6 by the time mid lane is level 10 and 11, it is so dangerous for you to step up and go for a roam. In standard lanes, however, that combo comes online much earlier, and you get a couple more tries to really land, you know, Tempered Fate into roams, Tempered Fate into Zilean double bomb.
Well, Raze is going to take the first shot here, but as we see before, the line of scrimmage have been established, so we're not looking for an early lane swap. At the very least, if teams try to juke each other out and mind game it. Looks like Origen aren't going to opt for that one, of course, since they are wanting to favor SoaZ, and we could start to see a much more predictable game out of these two than what we had last time.
They want to favor SoaZ, but they could also just really lose the lane on bot. Like Braum, Ezreal can maybe farm from far, but if they fall behind and take a couple of bad pokes, then they just get put in the dumpster CS-wise. So the safer option, I think, combined with the fact that putting Bard in lane swap is really detrimental to the roaming style, is still for Origen to lane swap. And then hopefully they manage to find a way to get SoaZ ahead.
Well, you called it. Hybrid and Peke move their way up to the top side.
It's easy when they're walking there.
Yeah, pretty easy.
It's more so analyzing than calling it, because there's reasons for everybody to want a lane swap here. Depends just which lane you kind of want to screw over.
Let's grab ourselves a look at the Keystone Masteries. A whole lot of fervor on the side of Origen. It makes a lot of sense considering what they've got in their composition. The Olaf up in top, he's going to want to be swinging those axes as fast as possible. Parang, see what he's going to get done as he double jungles up with Airwaks on that Ekko, and it's not a combination that we've seen a whole lot of on this recent patch. Zilean, of course, is utilizing, as SoaZ takes a empowered shot.
Yeah, he's just going to move away. We've always seen a reduction in the whole double jungler since only junglers can pick up the experience, or only whoever lost hits, and that will always be the jungler here in these scenarios.
Yes, indeed. So, as Peke and Hybrid continue to push against Parang, it's actually kind of surprising the lanes turned out this way to start. Don't think Roccat were really expecting the lane swap to come in. Of course, they didn't have vision of it since it all went through the Origen jungle.
Yeah,
but,
top laners,
it's going to be delayed in the push.
Yeah, top laners is just going to go for the double TP here, you know, keeping that one creep alive, because they lingered and they stole some experience and CS on lane. SoaZ got 3, Parang got 0, but it still want to match the experience, and they're just going to trade teleports here. Later push here, third wave for Roccat, I think second for Origen as they push in.
Yeah, everything so far so standard. It looked like for a second we were going to be in for our good old standard lanes, but instead it ends up just being the towers traded, and everybody's favorite dragon spawns on the Rift too, so I don't think we'll be seeing a whole lot of action in that corner for some time.
Yeah, you can get your hopes up, you know, for a nice bloody massacre.
You didn't have to mention him last game.
LPL style.
Let him lie away.
Nice Infernal Dragons, Mountain Drakes, and then suddenly you get a lane swap and Cloud Dragon, and you wonder, did I step on a kitty? You know, what did I do to deserve this?
Well, you deserve 15 flat movement speed out of combat, apparently, whatever you managed to do. But this trade so far, CS-wise, has been favoring Steeelback just a little bit more. But obviously, it's all going to be down to when PeKe gets back, catches that wave, returns on the other side. It's been bounced a little bit, but you can see Origen trying to favor SoaZ as much as possible, sending him up a little bit quicker than Parang gets out there.
I like the adaptation from our observers. One, they want to rub it in that it's a Cloud Drake, but then they move that little pip box into an action cam from Lost Hits. That's the level of action we're going to have here in this game. You know, the zoom in on the Lost Hits, because it's pretty standard lane swap here. Teams mirroring, even in phase 2 after the first towers drop. Portal from Raze. He speeds up back to lane, steals a small crowd here. Won't see its advantage on the supports.
Yeah, man, that really starts to stack up. Go further into the game. Tier, of course, for PeKe after all the trades back and forth, and he's going to want to be stacking it up long as possible. It'll be Origen. They're playing a little more for the late game in that regard.
Yeah, and both these top laners have a laning pattern where they get pushed off a wave. They want to throw out some Qs.
Here's some action.
Betsy snared.
Oh, he's not going to live very long on that. One more shot, and it's amazing who gets the kill.
Yeah, so we were talking about speed up yourself, get the Manta in range, and suddenly Betsy finds himself flashing and still getting snared on the back end of that one.
First blood goes over to Amazing, the jungler, and you know, he's been doing some pretty good work with a lot of kills early on. His Rek'Sai last week, even though he tried to snowball onto SoaZ, he picked up a lot of stray kills himself. And he was able to make good use of the gold. Now on Kindred, let's see what he's able to do. So for Betsy, he's going to have a little bit more time to try and catch back up in this farm game, but might think twice about stepping a little bit too far forward. We saw the same thing happen to Perkz when he was trying to play on Zilean, just finding himself a little too squishy early on. Free 6 before he can save his own life.
Yeah, definitely did. I know, Amazing lurking here again. Really want to shut down Betsy. We could actually see PowerOfEvil just flash in, honestly. If he can sidestep one of the bombs after that, it could just be a kill. Definitely have to be wary of a counter gank.
The bait keeps on coming. No jungler around, though, for Roccat. They're trying to do some work up in the top side, but Airwaks has got his eyes set on the Braum for the time being. Amazing, very patient in this brush here, but Betsy is just hanging outside the safety range. Airwaks, though, he's moving on in, and if he runs straight into Amazing, we could have a 2v2. And it's preempted. Wolf's Frenzy is in. Airwaks clearly didn't see that one coming. A flash and a flash. Power follows Betsy and gets the inner flame on that, and in comes Hybrid out of nowhere. Exhaust is down. They're gonna pick up another, or will they? Yes, it's Power.
Yeah, crouching Tiger hidden Hybrid out of nowhere. Comes in, swing and Q flash in, connects. And that's enough. Slow him down. Betsy goes down on the second finish. Good turn there from PowerOfEvil. I think it also caught Amazing off just a little bit. But I like the fact that they went aggressive on Airwaks stepping in. Left him no time to assess the situation. No time for Betsy and Airwaks to synergize. You know, what happens if there is somebody in this rush? They weren't ready for this at all. They were all looking at Power. And then look at this flash here. Mantra. And as the Mantra is about to drop, he gets a Q. So the second part of the empowered Q goes on the edge. Exhaust 2 to slow Betsy down. Just enough for 1 Q. Circumvening Airwaks' big fat body there as well. So really well played by Origen.
Just by enough inches to get another kill onto Betsy. Still sitting at level 5, so Power with the advantage for himself in terms of levels. It's actually been quite quiet. Speaking of level advantage, by the way, it's been very quiet for top laners, but Parang has managed to be in a 2-level deficit. And a lot of that's in the CS right now. It's just the Phage picked up, so items aren't really reflecting as heavily, but Parang is still level 3 at 7 minutes in. SoaZ has been moving around and getting a little bit more done as he's pinged out there by Roccat. And this is a really troubling start. Not only does this team have, you know, the reputation, we keep hitting on it for poor early gameplay overall, but Origen, after that first game, they showed that they can start swinging, and the dance can get deadly early on.
Oh,
Raze gonna walk right into Hybrid almost.
Yeah, he's playing into the weak side here of his own jungle. So he has to be careful face checking that at least, but they're going for the defensive option, leaving Steeelback to farm back into the game here. This is going to mean that Parang loses even more farm to SoaZ here, because he really has a hard time contesting these waves, and they're sharing with Airwaks.
Even though they're able to clear the waves, it's still a lot of damage, or at least a lot of damage potential that they can start putting out on this turret, and Parang is still having to share that XP. As you said, it's still just a level of disadvantage to him, but SoaZ close to picking up 6. Betsy forced very close under turret here, and Amazing coming around the wall as well.
Yeah, and this is Roccat playing the map 4v5 right now, because Steeelback is on a dead lane trying to push out and then use that pressure to turn the map into a 5v4 on their side. Right now, they're looking to stop the bleeding as best as they can. And honestly, they had a good defense in the top lane. They're not losing the mid lane tower, but Betsy is getting poked out.
Chunked time and time again. The tower now under siege by Origen, and they just keep taking away jungle. Amazing. He got red buff in the top. He's able to get blue buff now in the bottom. So this isn't just a problem for top laners like Parang. It's a problem for Airwaks as well. He's been starved out of his own jungle.
Yeah, we have to look at Amazing's pathing in both these games here. Did a phenomenal job as shutting down enemy resources, continuously challenging enemy buffs pretty much on spawn. And it's so annoying, and it doesn't translate much into the gold count, but it's so annoying to defend as a team when you're losing the vision. They're always playing on your side of the map. A little late on the shield here from Hybrid.
Okay, PowerOfEvil, he gets bopped sideways. He does have enough disengage available to him. Look at that empowered inner flame. He's able to get out enough damage onto Steeelback.
Yeah, they're not working together here. We need to see Airwaks being sped up by Betsy. Turbo Gragas flying out, going for the body slam into the flash. That's what we need to see from Roccat. They're grasping at straws almost for some of these engages.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of momentum on their side, that's for sure right now. So Origen still holding the lead. It's about 1,000 and some change. Cloud Drake, of course, still on the rift, but it'll last a while longer. That's for sure. Roccat going to try to make some plays inside the jungle of Origen to catch back up on some of that gold, but Amazing is here baiting with the blue buff. Peke at his back. He leaps the wall. He gets stunned up for his trouble, but not nearly enough damage dealt. And Power finding Betsy once again, throws the leash on him, dodging out both bombs. Amazing will pick one up here.
Yeah. Good guy, Amazing. At least gives Betsy something worth his time, and this is what we're talking about as well. Mantra's shield speeding you up, allowing you to dodge at least the first bomb, and then it doesn't matter if the second one connects. It's just all about avoiding that stun.
And while Roccat are trying to muscle up in this top side and force something away, look what's happening on bottom. SoaZ completely unobstructed to try and push in this tower. Yeah, maybe they'll get the blue. Sure, he smites it down, but they're investing so heavily into this. What are they really getting?
Yeah, they're just getting some pressure here, but they're getting cross-map for the pressure. Look at this difference in speed and execution on both these blue buff contests. Origen almost seamlessly pick it up, whereas Roccat take a lot of time, and if Hybrid was a little bit quicker on his shields, would have gotten punished even harder.
Origen still looking like they own the tempo of this game, and Roccat still scratching their heads in these early game phases. Not an encouraging look from them at all, despite the record and where they place in the standings. This is a big sign of hope for Origen right now, starting to climb themselves out of that low spot.
Yeah, and this lane swap really helped Origen in every single facet. SoaZ rather played so well in the lane swap. The lingering farm that he picked up with these traveling axes into the waves got him ahead of Parang. We have xPeke being kind of boosted towards his item build that he wants to complete. His 2-item spike, 3-item spike, dodging the double range Lucian matchup as well. We have Amazing ganking for Power, getting him into the game. Played so well in the last game, can translate that performance again. So everything is coming together here for Origen.
Yeah, and it was hard to tell last week when we first saw the Peke sub and how he was going to perform, but we tunneled on the individual performance and how he was getting caught, how he was costing his team's ground. But this is looking different. First off, they put him on an Ezreal so he can be a lot safer. He can get out of dodge really quickly if he gets into danger. So I like this adaptation. But more importantly, they just seem so cohesive.
They definitely do here. Shifting aggressively. Raze, he's looking.
Oh, they want to make some plays here. In comes the Tempered Fate. Going to land on Hybrid. Teleport channel will complete. They look to gang up on him, but they don't have enough damage to finish him. The knockback, they do nail Hybrid. He's going to go down after flashing and exhausting, but that's all they've got so far. Origen on the runaway. SoaZ, he was not the target. It was Amazing that Airwaks turned towards. That true damage was doing some work, but not enough to take him down. In comes Amazing. Lambster Spite. Everyone low in this, but invulnerable for a few more seconds. Airwaks will fall. Amazing sees to that, and Roccat aren't sure if they want to take this one. Power flashing forward, throws the leash onto Steeelback. It's not enough damage.
SoaZ is back.
He's around the side. SoaZ in the back line. This is starting to look like hell for Roccat, and they lose 4 members. A double kill to SoaZ.
Yeah, Roccat tried to make a reactive move here with the Temper Fate, but xPeke, he's watched those games, he's seen those combos, he immediately flashes out, and Hybrid's the only one get caught. And if it's a Braum, it's actually very hard to combo because the projectile gets destroyed by the unbreakable shield. That's why Bar can never stun a Braum if he's quick. Hybrid does drop in the end because he holds his flash too long. He doesn't really use it defensively against this engage. Watch it again. Tempered Fate on 2. Pekka says, you know what, I'm not even going to risk it. He could have walked out here, but he didn't know the distance. Hybrid puts up the shield. Q gets destroyed. Airwaks knocks in Hybrid, who could have technically flashed, but that's definitely a forgivable sin. Double stun on the SoaZ, and right now, they want to use the fact that they're playing with a man up and have a revive available, but they overchase because this ultimate here from Amazing, so well timed, and then the turnaround starts. Really good double Q from Power. That will excuse the 1 Q he's going to hit here. At least he hit 2 on the previous one. Switches to Steeelback, and look in the top of your screen. Who comes in? SoaZ went to the base, or actually left the fight in the bottom. Didn't even have time to go to the base, but was half HP. And just joins the fight again.
And that's really all Origen needed, able to thrive in those chaotic fights. Amazing coming up really clutch with the Lambs fight. Might have ended a lot sooner if not for that. But once again, the team looks like they're more cohesive, choosing their targets better, and it was just chaos for Roccat. SoaZ, however, might get caught. He does dodge out of the big belly. Turns his attention. He throws the Ragnarok on. Airwaks looks like he's the one that's caught. Tempered Fate whiffs, but they do get the Chrono Shift on. Roccat chunked out by the True Shot Barrage, and Airwaks, they'll kill him a second time if they can. Amazing over the wall and nails him with the hail of arrows.
Yeah. Kill me once, shame on you. Kill me twice, shame on me. For Airwaks, even death after resurrection.
Amazing, starting to roll forward here. 4-0-1 on this Kindred. He gets himself another mark. And it's starting to be a legitimate damage threat. Peke still able to do a lot in the backside, just continue to stack up his Manamune and work his way towards the Iceborne Gauntlet. It's really all he needs for the time being. 7-1 is that kill score, and it is a 4,000 gold edge in favor of Origen. Another Cloud Drake will be the next one coming up, but it may not be a lot individually. Movement speed starts to stack up a little bit more, and Origen finding the fights they need. Positioning is a key part of it. Let's take a look. Origen can continue to try and push their lead in the mid side. They've kind of gone back to the 1-3-1 for the time being. It's still very early on in this game, but it's a pretty big gold swing for them.
Yeah, and Amazing has already done 6,000 damage to champions. He's leading Origen here in terms of damage output, and if we have to compare that, Lucian's HP bar right now is 1100 HP, so he's basically done over 5 Lucians of damage.
Very valuable quantity to really anticipate. And speaking of Steeelback,
5 early game Lucians.
Yes,
you know?
5 early game Lucians. What has he really been able to get done on this in-your-face power fighting pick? Doesn't look like a whole lot, but right now they found SoaZ. Still, you can't stun him out. They might be able to collapse, but all he's got to do is Ragnarok on.
Yeah. SoaZ knows that the enemy would come for him. Thinks champion that can escape very easily. Makes his way out there. No, Steeelback hasn't been able to do much, but he's also not being put in a position to do much because he's mainly been clearing out some of these side lanes. Since Betsy's playing in the mid lane with that Zilean, they're not putting Steeelback mid just yet, for whatever reason. And the lane swap has very much so negated this Lucian pick entirely.
Yep. Origen successfully taking that away, and as well as Steeelback has been performing overall, just not having him be a factor in a Roccat game, it's a crucial thing for this team that's relied so heavily on his consistent damage.
Hey, but for Roccat, they're only like, what, 5,000 gold behind?
Yeah, we've seen him come back for more, that's for sure. Not last game, but overall, the trend still
almost 9,000 gold behind.
They had a minute, that's for sure. This tower is going to go down, however, SoaZ is leading the charge on it. Right now, Origen, at the very least, they're pushing their lead. They're pushing their edge, and they're not doing it too unsafely. You said to yourself, using SoaZ to be the one who's splitting a little far and waiting for people to jump on him, so he just pops his ulti. He's almost got it back up again.
Yeah, and the Origen battering ram is definitely ahead of schedule here. If you want to get 3 outers down, if you can get that to happen like at like 20 minutes, you're fine, because it's after these outers fall, you want to shift your attention to maybe a dragon, which is now a Cloud Drake, so not the biggest fan of that. And eventually to Baron, so Origen have done everything here almost correctly. Leading 6,000, 2 dragons, and should now start looking at preemptively start controlling the enemy red side jungle, and that's likely what they're going to do, because they seem very set on determining which their next objective is, and then they masterfully play towards it, especially with their vision.
And Roccat are just not really holding up their end of the bargain. Still the same problems with lacking proactivity. And productivity. They're in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Send Steeelback off to the side. Keep trying to farm out. You know, they just play safe because they keep losing early members. But the one fight they tried to go for,
yeah,
it bit him in the butt.
Bit him in the butt. And then also they're building double Rod of Ages here, so they're taking scaling to an extreme. Trying to regain the title of
Doesn't work. Go double down on it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with scaling.
All we need is like 60 minutes, guys. It's okay. We got this. We're going to be able to do it.
And they're even like kind of bridging the experience gap with the Zilean passive here. Betsy continuously topping up members that are down a level versus their opponents. I've seen him infuse Airwaks at least once. Might need to start doing that to Parang though if you want us to have any semblance of fight against this Olaf from SoaZ.
Well, speaking of SoaZ, up on the top side, still a lot of damage for him with the Black Cleaver.
Where does he hold all those axes, man?
I think he juggles them after a while.
Throws out his cleaver every time, has to pick it up.
Yeah, well, he loses everything. He loses all the stats, and then he has to go grab it again. There's a weakness.
Yeah.
Step on it. Break the axe.
That's why you build a bow on Olaf. Can't throw a bow.
I mean, you can, but I don't imagine it hurts quite as much. All right. Roccat still trying to keep control of their own jungle, but you can see them being slowly pushed back in. They only own about half of their own jungle at this point. Wards have started to creep in, the attrition from Origen, and they've got that movement speed to help them kind of move a little further forward. And Steeelback, he's resorted to jungling, not even clearing out the sideways. I mean, this is all kinds of troubling if you're Roccat. Coming in here as a pretty clear favorite and not getting a lot done against a revitalized Origen squad.
And if we start looking at some of the individual gold disadvantages, how far behind they are. Look at that later, though, because they have a bit of a fight here. Amazing jukes just out of Betsy's bomb.
Yeah, Hybrid gets nailed by it, but he just strikes oppose instead, so yeah, that is a key ultimate burn by Raze. They can't really get a whole lot else done here. And hallelujah, the next dragon's going to be Infernal, so we have a little bit more to fight over.
Yeah, definitely their eyes will be on Baron, though. Dragons will be pretty free pickups. Betsy not finding any combos here, and Raze's Tempered Fate didn't allow for any sense of combination footwork into double bomb either, so Amazing and Hybrid continuing that war of attrition, taking away enemy objectives. Airwaks slowly falling farther behind here, already down nearly 2,000 gold versus direct lane opponent, or jungle opponent rather, in Amazing.
Yeah, we made a lot out of that Zilean Bard combo and how deadly it can really be, because we saw so many powerful plays on Side of Vitality last split when they were making use of it somewhat regularly, but you need a certain level of cohesion to make that happen. And Roccat in this series so far, we have not seen it. We have not seen them been able to execute that. They're going to need to step things up.
Yeah, you also need a level of pressure, because the more pressure you have, the more escape paths that you can eliminate from an opponent. If you're playing very loosely pressured and high-ranged, kind of random skill shots, they have any direction they can go in. They can go forward, backwards, left, and right, and any combination thereof. If you're playing a high-pressure style, they can't actually move forward to dodge, because they walk into your damage and they'll die. That's why pushing lanes are sometimes so good, because you eliminate a lot of these dodge patterns, and they can only go back left and back right, and then it gets a lot easier to guess where you need to throw your skill shots.
Yeah, definitely easier to sync a 50-50 than when there's any number of directions to go, but fancy footwork from Origen just to continue to dodge out the skill shots, can keep on the pressure. The 1-3-1 continues, and Origen really don't need to deviate from this pattern, but Hybrid, he's got to be careful not to walk straight into too much damage. He does tank a decent bit of it up, however, and they keep on clearing these wards out. The Baron vision, it's not going to be anywhere for Roccat.
Yeah, Hybrid has to be careful, but at the same time, look, Ekko revealed in top lane, Zilean in the bottom lane. It's going to be perfectly fine for this Braum to face it, because who is he honestly running into? A tank Gragas, Steeelback, who is in vision clearing the wave, and then a Bard. Like, he's actually fine, face checking almost. That's why Origen are really making use of a lot of the liberties given to them by Rocket's draft falling behind so early in the game.
Yeah, big gold deficit keeps on climbing for them. It just seems like the story of so many Roccat games is amazing. He does get caught by the barrel, he gets tagged by the Ignite, but it is not going to be enough damage to take him down. He will, however, be out of the action for just a few moments, as Raze forces the flash out of PowerOfEvil, so Origen do overstep their bounds on that one.
Yeah, and honestly, this Origen, this rendition here, seems almost twice as good as anything we've seen so far in the split. Ironically reflected in their gold lead as well. 6,000 gold they were ahead at 20 minutes. That's double of their second largest lead. Previously, Origen's largest lead in the European LCS this split was only 3,000 gold.
We didn't see it happen
They're
very
definitely
often,
doubling their efforts and tripling the payout, because they may be looking at their first 2-0 win here. And that's 3 times points more as what they've had before. They've drawn once or twice here in the European LCS, but they're looking for this 2-0 here finally.
It's a big confidence booster if they can nail it. Airwaks, he's gonna go down. Flashes, hops the wall. That's gonna be the smite, not available anymore. Origen will have no trouble picking this one up as the last few seconds tick down. 22 minutes, and they nab Baron 1.
And this has to be a really good motivational booster here for the Origen organization, because they definitely don't want to be a bottom tier team. They went from rookie to challenger, breaking away from the Fnatic safety here if you're xPeke, starting his own organization, dominated challenger, went summer split, all the way out, got to Worlds, did phenomenally well there, and suddenly it all started falling down once they start losing some key members here.
Definitely a lot of questions pervaded this team coming into the split with the changes that they had to make, but we're finally starting to see this get back to form. The expectations still quite aren't there yet, but as you said, a motivational booster. They can definitely use it as they take away this Infernal Dragon. They've got a tough schedule ahead of them. Tomorrow, of course, they face off against Giants, but then the next week, Fnatic, Splice, they got H2K on the board, and then G2. If they can start bringing themselves back up to that form, they can start challenging these top teams.
Yeah, no, not only that, you don't even need to challenge the top teams that hard. If you just continuously beat the teams below you, you get rewarded with those 3 points for those 2-0 victories. That goes a long way right now. 6-point swing in the standings means so much here for Origen. So they definitely desire a 4-0 very much. And with this level of play, it can actually be a reality.
They've more than double the points they already have by just winning again right now and then looking ahead towards tomorrow's matchup. But for now, dialing back in on this game, they've not let the pressure up. PowerOfEvil just steps away. Hey man, it's a half a second is all it takes. Those two air drakes are coming in handy.
He was actually in combat, so.
Oh yeah, never mind.
It was the Manta Shield that sped him up though. You were right that the largest influencing factor there was the speed up, but it was self-provided.
Yeah.
Sadly, Cloudrake did not give it. And it's only like half a second or a second on the full lane stretch. So
yeah. But if you hadn't been in
nice
combat,
try, Pyra, making Cloudrake seem worth it.
Cloudrake is totally balanced, I promise, guys. Still, the Infernal's helping out. The 8% AD and AP is going to get even better and better the longer this game goes on, but really, Amazing is huge. SoaZ is pretty big. They haven't actually needed Power and Peke to really be massive damage dealers, but they're going to get that way anyways. And then you've got the front line of Braum. I mean, this is going to be a team that is so hard to survive.
I mean, it's impossible. They have what we call like a Zerg composition that just wants to like, you know, blitzkrieg almost, you know, dive into the front, you know, block some projectiles and tear away at anything in the front line here. With Olaf being sped up, PowerOfEvil going for the ultimate aggressive build here. Void Staff as a second item here. Just nibbling away at any semblance of magic resistance that's picked up by Roccat, but they're not even wealthy enough to buy magic resistance. They're struggling to keep even on damage.
No, they're still trying to work their way forward, and some of them still sitting on basic boots too. We're also talking about, you know, the speed boost provided not just by Cloudrake, but obviously Hybrid's going to get a little bit faster with the Moby boots since he's not in combat all the time anyways. But when you've got 3 members on your team that are still sitting on boots 1, you know you have a gold problem.
That's how you need to look at velocity too, right? It's all relative to what you in what frame of reference you're looking at. You know, it's how 2 different points interact with each other. Not just the sheer amount of speed.
Realize I was going to get a physics lesson.
Yeah, it's actually really good realizations once you get that in physics. You know, all the relative movement. But yeah, if you're moving on double speed and the other guys are sitting on boots 1, just the game is so much easier to play. Yeah, you can dodge so many more skill shots. They have to be a lot more wary of yours. You can predict what they're going to do so much easier because they're so slow. Movement speed, such a big influential factor here in the game.
And if a subtle one, it's definitely true. 26 minutes is the time on the game right now. It's 6 towers in favor of Origen to the 2 of Roccat, who've yet to crack the outer in mid, and they are nowhere near getting it. The vision is eroding. Origen just continue to push it back time and time again. They keep this 1-3-1 on and keep mixing it up. It's so hard for Roccat to get a single catch on this game, and their chances of getting even a tie in this series are slipping away.
It's definitely slipping away. Origen, they're also so comfortable with their lead that they really don't need to press their advantage here and go for kind of a throw face check. They can simply wait for the next Baron, claim that, and then securely finish out the next stage of the game here. They don't need to make any rash movements.
No, but despite all of that, we know that this is a team that will not have the cardinal sin of laziness that Roccat seem to have had when they've amassed, or not when they've amassed leads, but when they've been playing in these early games. It just hasn't come together for them.
That's
There's a
what
quick
I like.
flash burn.
PowerOfEvil, he flashes out. Real like so many teams when they're this far ahead, they're like, you know what, I'll get hit and I'll figure it out afterwards. He's not letting them be set up for any double bomb combos. They're just respecting it right now. Raises down of his key spell that sets up both parallel convergence and the double bomb for 100 seconds right now. So it's 100 seconds of absolute liberty for Origen here, and they can look to take it.
You can see him pushing the line too. They keep on clearing out that vision. Peke has been untouchable this game, just poking away at the towers. Even with the bomb clear, Roccat still don't have enough here. Oh, and the Triforce. I was actually calling a little bit wrong, thinking he was going to go for the Iceborne Gauntlet, but no, he's just giving himself a lot more power.
It's the shift that you can do when you're definitely ahead and you don't need additional CC and you just want to go for raw damage. Obviously, xPeke values that CDR more so. Like Ezreal doesn't need that crit, especially on a 2-item spike when you're looking to close out the game this early already. Like the Triforce pickup is a really good move there. Iceborne definitely has more utility, and I think later in the game slightly better too. You just lock people down when you're kiting, but the Triforce as a 2 or 3 item spike, definitely better.
Yeah, well, the attack on base is stopped for now because Origen want to go back, spend the hard-earned gold that they've already got. Baron's going to, of course, be online in 1:15, and so the ever-tasty Cloud Dragon, that'll be the last elemental based on how fast they're able to take that one down. And don't expect them to be making quick moves in that direction, not when there's a completely dark spot in Baron.
Yep, definitely gonna mean that the next dragon will be the Elder. Attack on base from the Titans of the Rift is down. I got you, Pyra. Don't watch the anime.
Stop talking about it in the office, so I have to pick a few things up. Roccat do manage to pick up some vision for themselves, by the way. However, they're so close in together. A couple of sweeps, they could clear this out. They need to be able to keep that vision to stop Origen from clean sweeping it out. But instantly, as soon as they place it, Amazing's got it.
Yeah, but even if Roccat see it, they might just get the scenic approach through the Barons. Like here, do we see, you know, Origen in their natural habitat taking down the Baron? There's nothing Roccat can do, but at least they get vision of it. They see the value in creating leads. Perhaps it'll be a lesson for them. Perhaps they will also want to garner some of these leads instead of always playing from behind.
Definitely a teaching moment for them in this series. And again,
here we go.
We're so worth noting. I'll talk about it in a minute because Betsy stepped way too far forward. Talking about learning a lesson.
Peke does damage.
Yes.
We have now established that the enemy AD carry of 3 items, 30 minutes in the game, does damage.
Yeah, and that's free Cloud Drake. So another 15 movement speed. 8 starts to stack up, man. That's about a boots and a half. 1.5 boots exactly.
Yep.
Still Roccat hanging around this top side, but when you group together like this and you're still too slow, they've still, by the way, got 2 members with basic boots, the Zilean and the Lucian. Yes, they've got movement enhancers, but it's really
they're not going to make it out of the fight alive. So they might as well stand still and hope they can fight their way out. Movement speed, because there's so many movement speed steroids as well on the side of Origen. They're just going to waltz over them. Airwaks is looking for E-Flash and xPeke here. That's the only thing they can dream of.
Yeah, I see him. Not going to be face-checking into that one. Roccat just hoping for a key mistake. Well, too many members of Origen are off on the side lanes, but PowerOfEvil and SoaZ, they know they can keep on pushing with impunity for the time being. Still some vision in the Baron pit for Roccat, so they'll know if the Baron does get started, but Origen know they can bait this one out. They've got a teleport available for SoaZ.
Yeah, honestly, if you're Roccat here, you just journey Airwaks in to an unpredictable position, E-Flash to burn their flash, and then you react with Raze's Tempered Fate.
There we go, fight's on. Airwaks, half his health bar already is chunked out, and that's saying something for a big tanky Gragas. There's a teleport in for SoaZ, looking to try for the flank. In comes Parang about the side, but the trap is sprung, and they find Betsy. He's down before he can even pop his ulti off. Parang's not gonna last much longer before he ults back. Peke turns his attention. That's 2 quick kills right there, and they're looking for more. Amazing steps far forward, but he does get the Lamb's Respite. SoaZ shrekking through the back line, finally taken out by Steeelback, but it's too little, it's too late, and Roccat can't do a thing to stop this push.
Yeah, choo-choo goes the pain drain. First stop, Rockat's base here. Nothing they can do. They just get run over, obliterated in this fight. Really good target selection. No ultimate being used by Betsy to slow down the speed of that fight. Only Steeelback remains together with Airwaks, but it's enough for Origen to cash in, spend even more of that hard-earned money while taking down 2 towers in the base and an inhibitor.
And they can just spend that gold yet again, continue to push their advantage, and once again try to get a bait out on that Baron. All they needed to do was start it up, and right now they're closing in on the end game. A massive deficit in gold. Roccat still have only knocked down 2 towers. They've been so starved this game.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil goes out, looks at the zone. Raze completely whiffs both of his spells. At this point, he is rendered into a portal bot. He's going to place that portal right now. Betsy dropped, stun locked, can't ulti. Parang, you know, he goes back into time, but 2 seconds. He wishes he could go back about like 2 hours so Roccat can really reevaluate their choices in this match. Sadly, that would make Ekko a little bit too broken. SoaZ sacrifices his life, giving Steeelback the 2nd kill of this game. 2 kills of Steeelbacks and 2 towers here for Origen. That is all that Roccat have managed to take. And I misspoke, they actually haven't finished the Baron yet. They just used it as bait.
Oh, the time that whole replay was going down, they might have been able to get back into it, but taking some time. Another Tempered Fate whiffs in the back, and Raze magical journeys out, but Power follows him with 1 more empowered attack, and now they're charging down for the final fight of this game. SoaZ in the back, Ragnar rocking, Ragnar rolling, Origen looking to close it out. PowerOfEvil with a big killing spree kill. Parang, Betsy, Steeelback, all that remains with a couple of Nexus turrets. Chrono breaking, Parang is just trying to run, but he's going the wrong way.
At this point, Origen's main goal. This fight is not to kill the enemy team. It becomes an escort mission for some of these minions. Bring them to the towers, allow them to tank, lower the resistances, and close out the game here. Really cheeky kill by PowerOfEvil. Traveling auto attacks proc Thunderlords on the back end, and that is what killed him in that portal.
Oh, it was shocking, that's for sure, especially if you're Raze. But what a hell of a payload. They've escorted all the way into that base. 2 inhibitors down now. PowerOfEvil runs right into Parang. He does dodge the Time Winder. Fancy feet keep on it flowing, and he takes him down again.
Yeah.
SoaZ gets raised in the bag. Everybody's dying this game. It's Baron time, boys.
Still 2 kills on the board here for Roccat. They're not going to take it out of this one. 8,000 gold maybe, but 18,000 gold is simply too much for them. No smite near this Baron. Origen, what a fantastic turnaround. What a change from last week.
Origen haven't even needed Peke in this back, so they do manage to get themselves the Baron. And Betsy, his health bar drops in the blink of an eye. He manages to get the chrono shift on, but he will not live it a second time. Bomb damage plenty, but that's not nearly enough. And this very, very far behind Roccat team are just melting away. Teleport around the back for power. It's just getting silly now.
Yeah, they're just hurting the cattle here. Remove left side from an option. Steeelback gets his 3rd kill here. 100% kills on him. Look at some of the weak scores here on the other team members here.
They're chasing them out of their own base at this point. It's all Nexus turrets just to try and hold the line. SoaZ, Hybrid Amazing are a little bit battered and bruised, but still, look at how much he can tank, and it's completely fine.
Yeah, 6, 1, and 9 here for PowerOfEvil as well. 15 out of the 17 kills he is involved in. He became the cornerstone of Origen in this matchup. Defensive bot lane, SoaZ excelling in the lane swap in the top lane. And then the cornerstone, the pivot here for Origen was PowerOfEvil.
Masterful performance for them, completely demolishing Roccat. It's all Nexus remaining. SoaZ even is still alive in this one. You don't often see him protect his KDA, but it's gonna be it. And the first 2-0 for Origen on the split against Roccat, 35 minutes in.